what these statues are offering is this kind of perfection of the average, the sort of harmony of the normal. And it's really interesting because I think, at least for me, I think we live in a time now where, I don't know, to be called normal isn't exactly like the highest praise you could get, you know, but it was a time when normalness and averageness was seen as something that was, you know, a lot of people were striving for, and that the kind of needle that this group of people were trying to thread was to sort of offer up average and normal as this kind of like zenith rather than a middle, if that makes sense.
Totally. Well, and honestly, like secretly in my heart of hearts, like I secretly, all I want is to be normal. And I know that I'm not. Yeah. And I think that like the desire for normalcy, which I'm sure we'll really talk about throughout, it's like, it feels connected to the idea that normalcy is something that exists in terms of like, you know, this like impossible, just over the horizon thing of not dealing with all the emotional and mental and physical and material problems that all actual people deal with in one way or another.
Totally. And I mean, it's also like a thing I started to think about a lot when I was working on this section is how, when I say the word normal, I guess I have a set of ideas about what that is. Like, a normal person would be able to like shoot a basket into a hoop. So I feel abnormal that I can't. But then I'm like, if I actually were like thinking about it in some kind of statistical way, like, is it true that like the average human can shoot a basketball into a hoop? I'm not sure that's true. So the idea of normal is like this ever shifting thing that is reflecting what American culture is deciding is, you know, tolerable or correct. And I think it's so important to kind of unpack that and to understand that what these people are kind of trying to sell is this idea of normal according to them. And even as they're like obsessed with these averages and they're taking these statistical means of all these measurements by Ruth O'Brien, they're not actually interested in the statistically average American person. Because, I mean, that's very clear. They're throwing out this data, you know, Ruth O'Brien threw out that data, and they're so pleased to use that study. And they're dismissing huge parts of the population of America. And they don't even consider those people American because they're immigrants, or they're first or second generation immigrants, or they're not white.
Right.
So I just think one of the kind of opportunities of thinking about Norma and Norman is to think about what we mean when we say normal or average, and what it offers and what it kind of leaves out, you know?
Right. And I feel like the word normal in this case, and still today, feels like it's code for like desirable, right? And the idea that we're only using data from white women because white women are the only women that are supposed to exist in America, and everyone else, like, and it reminds me of the skew of positive eugenics, where it's like, we're not focusing on sterilizing people. Lord, no, we just want better babies. And it's like, but by implication, the better babies are going to force out the other babies. And I think in kind of an equally insidious way, the collecting only data from white women therefore means that like, we're not going to kill the other women. We're just going to ignore them to death.